Welcome to week 3 of the Coaches Show as we get ready for tonight's game between the Dumas Demons and the Perryton Rangers from Perryton. Dumas comes off a big win this past Friday night, defeating the Lubbock Estacado Matadors by a final score of 34-7. And, you know, Coach, it was a great matchup. It's a good early road test to go down to Lubbock and play. It's also, you know, one of those stadiums that we might possibly play in the playoffs. And so it's always good to kind of get down there and kind of get your feel for things, especially for guys that haven't been there before. Sure. We jumped on top early. We score early in the first quarter, go up 8-0. And then we scored 19 points over a stretch of 3 minutes and 6 seconds in that second quarter and really take control of the game from that point. All of that happening with less than 4.5 minutes left in the first half. How do you feel about the quick start from your team?
I liked it. I thought it was really good. You know, it was definitely something different than game one. Mm-hmm. And so we're challenged, our offense and our kids on offense to start a little bit faster. Mm-hmm. And they did that. You know, a very talented Estacado football team. We knew that coming in. So I was really proud of the things. You know, we talked about some of our keys to victory and what we needed to do, and I thought our kids did that. And so really excited about the fast start. You know, really excited about, you know, getting to play a team of that caliber, because they are. You know, they're very talented, and they tested us vertical from time to time, and I thought our kids did a great job of defending that, and then just our fast start on offense. I thought we were much improved on the offensive line. I really liked the way our running backs ran the football, and so that was really exciting to see.
You kind of finished the game on cruise control. You won 34-7. You outgained what I would call an always dangerous Lubbock Estacado team, 353-184. Your defense holds them to 79 in the air, 105 on the ground, and you know some of that was against second team.
It was.
They were 4 of 14 on third downs, 0 for 2 on fourth downs. You sacked the QB 3 times, got a turnover. Talk about your defense.
A lot of really good things. I thought we eliminated the big play all night long, and that's something that they really thrive on and something that they've had a lot of success throughout the years doing. And so that we were challenged to do that, and I thought we did a really good job. You know, from time to time there, the 105 yards rushing to a lot of people might, you know, we were a little disappointed in that at times. We thought that we lost the edge at times. We thought that we didn't contain real well. From time to time. And then, you know, any time that we get our backups in, we expect our backups to execute at the same rate as our starters do. And so that was something we want to work on. But again, I do believe that they deserve the opportunity to get in. I mean, that's what's going to help us gain some depth on our defense, which we will need later in the season. And so, you know, we wanted to keep the shutout. We did put our starters back there at the end and try to secure that because I think that matters. I think it says a lot to your kids. You know, being able to shut somebody out is tough to do. And then you talked about cruise control. That's something that we need to work on. I believe, you know, it is a game of 4 quarters and it's a game of 2 halves. And I think for 2 games, you know, we necessarily not that we were bad in the second half, but we did get on cruise control a little bit. And so we got to really guard against that. We got to make sure that we are executing 4 quarters and executing when we come out in the second half. So that's something definitely, you know, that I want to work on. I've talked to our kids and our coaching staff about it, and we've got to get better at in the second half.
You know, I think about game prep. And these past 2 weeks, I think, has really shown that of how you guys prep for what's going to happen, how you study what's going to happen. I mean, you haven't allowed any points in the first half of either one of these 2 games.
And it is, you know, different from our scrimmages. You know, we try to go into the scrimmage. We don't put a whole lot of effort into, you know, we want to actually see our kids be in some stressful environments, you know, maybe not know what's coming at them and how we can react and defend that. But we are. I mean, anytime that you trade film, I mean, we're going to do our best. You know, we are a defensive formation, and we're going to do a good job offensively and defensively, trying to lock into what our opponents do. And I think you can see, you know, when we do that our kids execute at a much higher rate.
Yeah, it was great. So offensively, 4 guys ran the ball really well. Manuel Banez, Nathan Gonzalez, Luis Escarcega, and Yair Castrojohn. Those are guys we're going to talk about all season. I thought they did a great job. Offensive line seemed to really work well in establishing that line of scrimmage, but also opening holes for those guys to run through. Then you had 6 different receivers catch the ball this past week, which I think is going to be something that we probably are going to become accustomed to, seeing a lot of different guys involved in catching the ball on offense. Talk about how you felt like your guys played on the offensive side of the ball.
I thought we played really well, and that type of offense is what you're going to see. We're a committee. We're a team. We don't have one superstar. We're going to spread the football. I think Emmanuel was interviewed after the game, and he even speaks to the same tune. I mean, our kids understand it. We're just gonna do what we need to do. We're going to run 3 and 4 running backs at you. We're not going to rely on one guy, and I think that's something that's been special about us. I think that's who we are, and that's who our football team is. I thought our offensive line did a really good job. I thought we were much improved from week 1 to week 2. Anytime that you can spread the ball around like that and you can have offensive success. I think we almost had 400 yards of offense. That's definitely going to be centered around our offensive line. That this year's no different than we've been in the past. Is we're gonna depend on our offensive line. We're gonna make sure that we're aggressive at the point of contact on the offensive line. And was really proud of what we did. Really proud of the way I think we saw growth in Emmanuel Ibanez at quarterback. Yeah. He threw for over 100 yards, rushed for over 100 yards, and so I'm really excited to see our offense starting to spread out a little bit and open up and be able to run the ball and throw the ball.
Well, this is a side note. For you, a little coaching milestone after this past win. You tied now for second all time in wins at Dumas with 42. Done that in 52 games, which is just, for those of you who kind of follow this type of thing, it's really unbelievable. It's incredible that the success that you've been able to have here in just your 5th season, reaching that milestone way ahead of what anybody else has done. I just want to say congratulations on the big win.
Thank you. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have the staff that I have. I'm blessed to have the kids that we have that buy into, what we're trying to sell. A community that's extremely supportive of what we do. That's what it is. It's not me. It's a really good staff that invest full-heartedly into our kids. And when we do that, our kids respond in a really good manner as well. And so really excited about where I'm at. Very, very thankful for my coaching staff and the guys that pour their lives into these kids.
It's neat to see how all these things tie in. Your next game will be your 53rd game, Coach. That was how many Chad coached while he was here, 5 complete seasons. But also the guy that you're tied with right now is Coach McCauley, who you have some ties with back to Dumas football.
He actually gave me my first job here at Dumas. I coached here at Dumas, I think, something like 15 years ago or 16 years ago, and he was the athletic director that actually hired me. And so a really good man, somebody I still talk to today. And so I know what he did for Dumas football. I know the years that he had and where he took this program. And so I'm extremely honored to even be in that category and even be named, in the same category that he is, because he's a really good man.
Yeah, it's neat to see how all those things just kind of go back and line up together.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's move on. After starting with a tough game here at home against Lubbock Cooper, it's been 2 straight on the road, or it's going to be 2 straight on the road. We traveled south last week. We're headed north this week to play Perryton for tonight's game. It's a long rivalry that Dumas and Perryton have had. The 84th meeting between these two teams. Dumas has the edge at 42 to 40 to 1. I mean, so it's basically a 50-50 series. Let's start defensively for tonight. What are the Demons going to need to do to be successful on defense to stop the Perryton offense?
Well, Perryton's got a really good football team. Coach Haberther and his staff do a great job, and we as we trade film, we're watching them on film. I mean, they're really good on offense. They're in and out of formations. They anywhere from tight end, 2 backs in the backfield, under center to empty 5 wide, and so they do a really good job of that. They do a good job of keeping you off guard and getting in and out of different personnel and formations. And so I think the biggest thing we're going to do is we're going to have to recognize that. We're going to have to do a really good job, since we are a defense by formation. We're going to have to do a really good job of seeing that. Aurelio Madrano is really our quarterback on the defensive side. He's the one that checks all of our defenses. And so we're going to have to be locked in. He's going to have to be really locked in, recognizing when we do that, we have a lot of different calls and things that guys do so we can trigger and be alarmed of certain things. And so we're all going to have to really be locked in defensively to that so we can get in and out of the different fronts per their formations. And then I think, as always, I think we're going to have to try to make them one-dimensional. I think we're going to have to eliminate the run game. They're fine with three yards in a cloud of dust. They're fine with that. And so we've got to be really good on, of getting them behind the chains early. I think if we can get them into third and long, that's going to give us more success on the defensive side. And so, the biggest thing is I think we're just going to have to really have our minds in the game and being able to make our checks and get us in the right fronts.
It's always wild to play over in Perryton. I've seen some crazy games.
It is, I mean, as you just stated, something that's been played, we're fixing to play the 84th year, and it's pretty much right down the middle. And so I think that's great for our communities. Yep. I'm excited about the game. Because I know we used to be in the same district, and so this was always a game that really had a lot on the line, and maybe it doesn't have what it used to on the line, but I still think it's a really good game for our communities.
I agree. Offensive side of the ball, what do you think is going to be key for the Demons to move the ball and score against Perryton defense?
I think we're going to have to be balanced. I do. I think we're going to really have to, offensively is a little bit different. It's a give and take. We're going to have to read and see where they're at. Similar to the same defensive front, maybe that we've seen against Estacada, just not near as much pressure. They're going to be a little bit more base. They're going to set back. You're going to see the coverages that they're in. You're going to know the fronts that they're in, and then we're just going to have to execute. We're going to have to we're going to rely heavily on our offensive line. I think our offensive line is going to have a big night. And then I want to be a little more explosive. I want to be able to, see if we can test them vertical, see if we can continue to improve on our passing game and those type of things. And I think if we do that, I think if our O-line will control the line of scrimmage, we've got to continue, which we've done for 2 weeks now. We have had 0 turnovers. And I think that's the key to victory. We've got to continue to control the ball on offense. Ball security is a really big deal. And then, as we've done in the first 2 games as well, we've been really good penalty-wise. I think we've only had 4 or 5 penalties in 2 games. And so we're playing clean football. I think we've got to continue to do that. And if we do that, we'll have a chance to win the game.
I agree. It's going to be great. It's going to be a fun game tonight, and it always is when we go over to Perryton. And so looking forward to it. We're going to kind of transition here, Coach. I've got some what we're going to call quick hits each week. We'll talk about some personal questions, and we'll kind of move into some game predictions. High school from the teams that we've played.
Sure.
And then we'll move in and talk about some college games too. So quick hits. First, personal stuff. What is the go-to snack food in the coach's office?
There's. I don't think we're real picky. But me personally, I like anything gummy. I like the sweetest fish. I like any type of fruit snacks, any type of gummy. But honestly, our guys really like the energy drinks. I think I don't know if that's a snack, but that is definitely something that we maybe. I really think that we could get a sponsorship because we really go through those on any given day.
I can see it. The Monster Energy coach's locker room.
Yes, go. And a wide variety. Monster, Red Bull, Ghost. There's a variety.
It's nice. After a big win, who texts or calls you first to congratulate you?
I usually hear from my family first and foremost, and then Brett Stiegel's another guy. Yeah. Brett Stiegel's a guy that's always is going to reach out. That's awesome. And he always has great words of encouragement. He's a dear friend, a guy that really just loves everything Dumas, and so Brett Stiegel's awesome. A guy that's always going to reach out and talk to us.
That's cool. If you could meet or talk to any big-time coach in the history of football, who would it be?
Big Nick Saban fan. Right. And so I would. I just obviously the amount of success that he's had. There's a mix. I'm a Nick Saban guy, and then I'm also a really, really big fan of Dabo Swinney. I like the character of both men. I like how they run their programs, so those are 2 guys that are pretty high on my list.
Clemson just locked him up for 10 more years.
Smart. I think he does a great job. I think he's a really high character man. Yeah. I really like those type of things that he does in his program, and then obviously just the success and the character of Nick Saban as well.
All right, so we'll peel back the onion a little bit more. Favorite football player when you were growing up?
I was a big Bo Jackson fan.
Oh, yeah.
I just was. I liked that he was a multi-sport athlete. I liked that he, not only in football, but he was very, very successful, in multiple sports. I wasn't a huge baseball guy, but I really liked Ryan Sandberg. I just think because it was the flip glasses. But no, I mean, and I've never been a guy, that really, I don't know, idolizes people.
Sure.
I'm not a real big name guy. I don't get caught up on names, but I did have a poster of Bo Jackson, the one with the bat and the shoulder pads. I had that on my wall.
For sure. Bo knows. All right, so let's move into some game predictions. We'll look at each week. We'll look at our past opponents. I didn't want to put anybody we're playing in the future because I didn't want to give them any bulletin board material.
Sure, understand.
But Lubbock Cooper this weekend travels to Abilene Wiley.
I think it's going to be a good game. Abilene Wiley is much improved.
They are.
I've really been seeing them just gain steam throughout the years. And so that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is tough.
Especially with it being at Wiley. I think they just beat Monterey 30-0 last weekend, which I know that's an improved Monterey team. So that's tough. Just because we've played them, I know their physicality and offense. I'm going to go with Lubbock Cooper.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Lubbock Cooper, just their style of play is tough to match.
Sure.
And so even though they travel down to Wiley, which I think is going to be a tough place to play.
It is.
I see Cooper kind of edging them out.
I think the same. I do too.
Another good one going on back in Lubbock is Paladuro playing at Lubbock Estacado. Paladuro, to me, kind of seems to be an improved team as well.
They are much improved. I think they played. I remember just the score of Tascosa in week 1.
Yeah.
It was still a good win for Tascosa, but I thought Paladuro played really well at times. They didn't maybe score the points that they needed to score, but I do. I think Paladuro is much improved. I'm going to go with Paladuro in this one. Yeah,
I think so too. I think that Paladuro, I don't know what it is. Maybe just kind of starting to figure things out. It's the second or third year that they've had the coach down there.
I think it's his. I can't remember either second or third year, but somewhere there. I think they're much improved on defense. I think they've got a pretty aggressive defensive line. Obviously have a really talented coach coaching them in Ziggy Hood. So. I think it's going to be a really good game, and I'll take Paladuro.
I think so too. I'm going to go with you on that. I think Paladuro is going to go down and get the road win there in Lowry against Lubbock Estacado. Got some college games. I know that you don't have a whole lot of time to watch what's going on Saturdays. There is one down there at the bottom that I know is going to be fun to talk about. But first one's Tennessee at Pitt. Both these teams come in ranked. Pitt's kind of is kind of a pick for some people in the ACC. I think Desmond Howard picked him in his Final Four to make it the college football playoff. But Tennessee traveling to Pitt's fun matchup, SEC, ACC.
Was that Pittsburgh that was on TV last week on maybe on a Thursday?
I think so, yeah.
That environment was electric. I don't get to watch a whole lot of college football, but I watched some of that, and just the environment. Yeah, they I think they picked it off there at the end and ran it back for a touchdown to really seal the game.
The place was going crazy.
It was crazy. It looked amazing. And so if it's at Pitt and the environment that I saw last week on TV, I'm going to go with Pitt.
I am too. I loved watching just what was happening there.
So
they play in Heinz Field where the Steelers play. That place was unbelievable.
It was. It looked wild and it looked pretty electric, so I'm going to go with Pitt.
Okay. This one's an in-state matchup. It's always kind of fun. I don't know if you saw Iowa's score last week. This is Iowa State at Iowa. Iowa won last week 7-3 against South Dakota State or somebody like that. So Iowa with that defense that they always have. Another fun in-state matchup there, Iowa State and Iowa.
And that 7-3 is pretty normal for them. I mean, they're always, they're going to do that type style offense as well. They're a grind it and play good defense. That's a tough one. I really like the way that what Iowa State has been doing lately. That their coach is another guy that I really respect and I think he's done a great job in changing the culture there. I'm going to take, I don't know if it's an upset, but I'm going to take an upset and I'm going to go with Iowa State.
Okay. I'm going to go with Iowa. I like the home team. I like what they do there. Kind of reminds me a little bit of us, the way that they're known for their physicality, known for being tough. And I like Iowa at home.
Yes, sir.
Kentucky, they're ranked 20th. They're playing at number 12, Florida. Another early season SEC conference matchup there between those two teams in the swamp.
Sure. I saw a little bit of the highlights of Florida last week. They had a really big comeback to I think beat Utah.
Yep.
And so I think they've got a little momentum going right now. I think that was a really big win. Florida has been known for their football, but they've slid a little bit in the past. And so I'm definitely inside the swamp. I'm going to take Florida in this one.
I think so too. I don't think you pick against Florida playing at home. Kentucky's kind of been one of those teams on the rise, kind of,
Sure.
One of those teams that's that is kind of become a little popular to pick and follow. I mean, they've been winning some games, but I think Florida at home.
I do too.
Man.
I do too.
This one is an interesting matchup. It's one of the Pac-12 games. It's a conference game again early here in the season. Number 10 USC under Lincoln Riley. Now they travel and play a road game at Stanford.
It's a big game, and there. I tried to. A lot of these coaches, that made changes. There was a lot of change in college football this last year, and some really big names. And so I tried to look at how all those guys did last week. And I think one thing that really stuck in my mind is there were a lot of offensive touchdowns scored in a bunch of those coaching changes.
Sure.
With OU and Levy and the things that are going on there. And then I looked at USC to see what he was doing. I looked at Sark at Texas to see what they did. And Alabama as well. And there were just a lot of touchdowns being scored. And so I'm going to go with USC. I think they got a little momentum going right now. I don't necessarily understand that whole coaching change of what went on at OU and USC, but I think I'm going to take USC in this game.
Yeah, I agree. They've just got too many weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Stanford, they'll come up and they always, I think they're kind of known for playing good defense. They've got a lot of good guys that come out of there.
Sure.
But USC's got weapons.
They do. And a lot of them transferred in, a lot of them came to coach.
They did. He brought in a lot of that help.
Yes.
This one, to me, is one of those kind of trap games. To me, if you're Texas A&M, it's a scary game of who you're bringing in. Appalachian State, who just seems to always find a way to win these wild and crazy games. They come into Kyle Field and play number 6 Texas A&M.
The last time I watched anybody play, it wasn't personally like Parker went to the A&M and Alabama game last year, and playing at Kyle Field is a little different. The environment and the 12th man is a really big deal. Parker said it was one of the craziest environments. It didn't end like he wanted it to, but he said it was one of the craziest environments that he's ever seen.
Yeah.
And so I know Appalachian State will come in and play well. They've always been that type of team that's going to slip up on somebody and possibly get a win. I just don't think it's going to be in College Station this weekend. I'm going to definitely take A&M.
I think they got like 105,000 people that can back into that place. That is something else. I don't see Texas A&M losing that game.
I don't either.
This next game is a real interesting matchup between Baylor and BYU. They're both ranked. Baylor number 9. BYU number 21. It's a home game for BYU. I think it's a night game in Provo. So this one to me is going to be a really fun one to watch. I think they're probably both going to – they can both light up the scoreboard.
Sure.
What do you think of this one?
I think they know each other a little bit. If I'm thinking right, I think Baylor's offensive coordinator came from BYU.
I think so.
He's running that he's really got behind some of that, power style offense that they've been running. I really like Baylor. I really like how they've, under some tough circumstances have really revived, that football program in the couple of years that they were down. And so I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a tough game at BYU, but I'm going to take Baylor in this one.
I'm going to go with BYU. I don't like BYU, but I think they're going to win. I think that it's a real tough place to go in and play. It's one of those really fun type atmospheres. I don't know. I see BYU taking this one.
Yes, sir.
Tarleton at TCU. I was thinking about this as I was kind of typing this out. Who would have thought just 10 years ago that Tarleton would even be able to schedule a game with TCU? They're a Division I program now. Made a lot of different changes. They've got a game coming up on Saturday at TCU.
That's a really big step. I remember I played in that conference. I played at Eastern New Mexico, and we were in the same conference as Tarleton, and so had some really good friends play at Tarleton as well. But they've really been doing some really good things at Tarleton. They have really been recruiting some really top-notch athletes and have really done a good job. I'm just not for sure, they're ready for TCU. But, I hope Tarleton can go in there and really play well. But I'm going to take TCU, especially at home. And I just think it's another level right now.
Yeah, I think TCU is going to score a lot of points
I
on
do too.
Saturday. These next two a little bit closer to home. Number 25, Houston goes into Texas Tech. Love it down there. It's an afternoon game, 2:30 game.
I think it's going to be big. I think the atmosphere last week was really big in Lubbock. I think it will as well, being a 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock game. I think that makes a difference.
Yeah.
They are playing a really talented Houston team. I mean, Houston has really been on the move here lately. They've been playing some really good football, and I think Houston's ranked.
Yeah, 25th. Yeah.
And so Tech with a ranked opponent, but I do believe that Tech's got a lot of momentum right now. I do. I think the job that's being done there is it's dear to my heart a little bit, because I think he's taken a high school football approach to what he's doing, a family type atmosphere, and trying to get everybody together. I think Tech wins in a big one at home.
Yeah, I like Tech in this type of a matchup. I think that Joey McGuire is doing something special down there. And he has got the backing of the fan base, which is just rabid and wild and crazy. I think when it is like that, it becomes one of the toughest places to play, especially in the Southwest. And so, I see Texas Tech having some success there.
Yes, sir.
Well, here's the game of the week. It's the big one. College Game Day is going to be there in Austin. Number 1, Alabama. Rolling into Texas. It is an 11 a.m. start time, which is kind of wild to think about, the game of the week being the first game that's played on Saturday morning. Alabama at Texas.
It's a big game.
It's a team in Alabama that you love, a team in Texas that I love to hate. So,
see, I do. I'm an Alabama fan. I love Alabama, but I've also, maybe I hate to admit it, but I've always been a Longhorn fan too. I just, I've always liked Texas, whether they were good or whether they were bad.
Yeah.
I really like Alabama just because of what they stand for and what they do. Yeah. I think it's a really big game. If you look at I think the line is 20. That's a crazy to me, but I think it could be a scary game. I think if Sark can. I mean, he has a little bit of knowledge about Alabama. He's been there with them. He has a little bit of knowledge about Nick Saban, but there's only been one. There's been a lot of games that have been played, against Nick Saban. Well, I guess there's been 2. There's been a lot of games with his assistants that have played him that have been able to beat him, and so I don't think it's going to happen in Austin. I don't think Texas can beat Alabama, and I'm definitely going to take Alabama in this one.
Yeah, I think so too. Alabama is just right now, I think even not just Texas, but even compared to other teams, they're just on a different level.
They are.
I love their quarterback, Bryce Young.
Played really well last week.
I'm like you. I like what Saban does, just as a person, and what he gets out of his players. I mean, he gets the elite talent, but he also gets the elite out of those elite talent.
Without a doubt.
There's a lot of schools that can recruit well, but they don't get that full potential out of them. But he seems to get that every single.
He does, and I really like the team. I mean, he gets elite players in there. I mean, guys that are going to go and sign multi-million-dollar contracts and get drafted in the first round, but they still play for Alabama. They still play for team. I think that's hard to do in these times, and I think he still gets it done there in Alabama. And so that's one reason that I'm a big Alabama fan. I'm a team guy. I believe. That the team is over the top of everything, and he still gets those kids to believe and play that way.
Yeah. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us again this week.
Thank you. Thanks, Zane.
As we head off and play the Perryton Rangers this week, and I look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thank you. It's always fun. I really enjoy this show.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this week, and let's go Demons.